Your insubordination will not be tolerated.
Greetings, Valparaiso. This is Ken the Metal Professor. It is time for my 2-hour Sunday night block, and regular listeners might have been surprised by the intro music you just heard. Normally, you would have heard this, but not tonight. That is what I play when the show is going to kick off as mostly metal, which is most weeks. However, this week I have more audio than I know what to do with regards to the other half of my split personality, the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. I went to an event Friday night and am doing delayed audio coverage of that event, as I've done several times for other events before, so you're about to hear some noise from that. And then I also had a guest in the studio yesterday, and we pre-recorded an interview because he was not able to be here tonight. And so between those two items, I have like almost an entire 2-hour block of audio just from the wrestling side of things. So rather than being mostly metal for most of the 2-hour block and then sliding over into the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, tonight's show is a wrestling extravaganza. Now, I'm not going to leave you metalheads totally in the lurch because I'll play a few songs a little bit before and into a little bit of the 9 o'clock hour, and one of the songs you're going to hear is brand new stuff from the metal legends Venom. They have a new single out called Bring Out Your Dead. Maybe they're Monty Python fans, but the song is not as funny as Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but it's still good stuff. Venom has been around for a long, long time, and it's always good to see bands alive and kicking like that. But between now and then, what I have here is delayed audio coverage of Acme Championship Wrestling's show in Lake Village. I believe it was called Lake Village Bash. It was at Lake Village Elementary School. It was a fundraiser for the school, and lots of interesting things happened. And also during the show, I was joined by Mr. Rick Raid, and he and I talked about what's going on with him for quite a while. I think we ran about 25, maybe even 30 minutes there during the show. And so you're going to hear all of that in the next 55 minutes or so. And so here we go. This is delayed audio coverage of wrestling. Acme Championship Wrestling's Lake Village Bash from Friday night. This is what went down. This is Ken the Metal Professor, and I am in the house for ACW, Acme Championship Wrestling, here at Lake Village Elementary School in Lake Village, Indiana. When I go to ACW shows, I generally end up in Roselawn or DeMotte. This was a little bit farther away. We're off of Route 41, way south of Valparaiso. I think we're like maybe in St. Louis. Well, maybe I didn't quite get that far. But it's time for a good night of wrestling. This will be a fundraiser for the elementary school, and actually I believe several of the employees, faculty and staff of the school are going to get involved in the action somehow later on. The doors opened about 15 minutes ago, and the line formed for the tickets, and it hasn't actually stopped yet. There's the end of the line. My radio station WVLP table is over by the admission table, and I've now spotted the end of the line finally. The room is filled up pretty nicely so far. Probably a lot of people hoping to support the school. Oh, look at there. There's Mr. and Mrs. Cade Lee from Backbreaker Wrestling here to support the ACW folks. That's nice to see people from different promotions supporting each other. Not only is my table next to the admissions desk, it's also next to the refreshment stand, and I'm already getting hungry, so I may have to do something about that. The action's going to start in about 10 minutes, and I will break in to get you sound from the beginning and end of the matches so you know what happened and maybe anything interesting in between. And there's also a possibility we'll have a guest sitting at the table to talk to me for a little bit sometime during the show. Maybe looking forward to talking to Rick Raid. We'll see how that goes.
ACW's Lake Village Super Bash. Thank you everyone for coming out. And before we get started, would everybody please rise for the playing of our national anthem. The water can be found at the concession stand. At the merchandise table, you can find all of your favorite ACW gear, such as t-shirts, glow-in-the-dark wristbands, and souvenir posters. 50/50 raffle tickets will be sold all night at the front door and by ACW staff. Are you interested in becoming a wrestler? Please see a member of the ACW staff for more information, and make sure to like Acme Championship Wrestling on Facebook. Finally, ACW would like for you to acknowledge that we are trained professionals, and we ask, please do not try any stunts you see performed here tonight at home. So, with that all being said, who's ready for some smash-mouth, hard-hitting pro wrestling that only ACW can bring you? Well, let's get this started. Please welcome to the ring the ACW General Manager. Give it up for Michael Allen! Lake Village, come on. I've been here before. You guys do better than that. So tonight we're going to continue. I don't know if you guys have heard, but we're doing a tournament for our heavyweight championship. So tonight we're going to continue that tournament. In our first matchup, we have the always exciting Dakota Prodigy. And he will be going one-on-one with former ACW champion, making his return tonight, Johnny Motley. And then also later tonight we're going to have fan favorite Crimson Dynamo. And he'll be going one-on-one with always exciting Excalibur. And we also have an extremely great show. The rest of the show is going to be great, so just wait till you see what happens.
And here comes Cliff Caviar to spoil the proceedings. The crowd isn't so impressed.
All this talk about the ACW championship, but now, hey, watch your mouth when I'm talking, you understand me? I'll stand here all night, see all the class. You want to talk about the ACW championship, that amateur-looking belt, but not even mention the ACW Toughman championship. You're not even going to get me the greatest Toughman champion of all time in a single mention? What is this? It's more of your shenanigans that I have to deal with every show. Now, look, I digress. All you people know how corrupt he is. I have single-handedly defended this against all of the best talent in that locker room. And I have retained every
Single-handedly doesn't mean what he thinks it means.
And you know what? Should I defend this tonight? You think I should? Well, I will defend this, but not at Lake Village. In front of you disgusting little people. Watched you for almost a year come out here and disrespect that championship. You do nothing but dodge bullets. You have a heavy come out here and help you win. You ride your yacht half the time you're supposed to be defending this championship. You will defend that title tonight. And if you don't, I'll strip you right here. And there won't be Cliff Caviar the Toughman kid. You don't have the power to do that. I'm a general manager like you! I am your biggest attraction! Why would you do that? Because I want a champion I'm proud of. And you know what? I heard a little story the other day. There's someone who really wants a piece of you. There's someone in the back that I think you might know why he wants a piece of you. I know every single woman in the planet wants a piece of me. It's not a woman, sir. It's this man.
The drawback of radio coverage of an event like this is that when there's something visual going on, you can't see it. Cliff Caviar just came out and got into it with Michael Allen, And Cliff Caviar did not want to defend his Tough Man title tonight. Michael Allen has other plans, and in fact, he is pointing out that Caviar's opponent is probably going to be Billy the Kid. And right now there's a video summary of what Billy the Kid has been up to with injury. And if you really want to watch this, go find the ACW Lake Village Bash Facebook event page, and you can watch this video all the way through. And so the first match of the night is going to be Cliff Caviar defending his Tough Man title against Billy the Kid. So far, there's no sign of TK0, who has been Cliff Caviar's henchman for a while. So we'll see how he does, if he's truly on his own.
From Memphis, Tennessee, he is your ACW Tough Man Champion, who would like to be announced as the greatest Tough Man Champion of all time, Cliff Caviar!
I feel really bad I wasn't on the ball enough to start the recording again when Billy the Kid was getting introduced. It was a great introduction. Good job by Greg Hansen. Billy the Kid's guest manager is one of the second grade teachers here at the school. And Cliff Caviar is already running away from Billy the Kid. He's run under the ring to get away. I'll let you know when he comes out. The random noises you hear are coming from Billy the Kid dragging Cliff Caviar around the auditorium outside the ring. And Cliff Caviar has been beaten with gym equipment and also slapped by members of the audience as Billy the Kid holds him out for the little kids to slap him. Billy the Kid is the new ACW Tough Man Champion. I guess now we know what happens to Cliff Caviar when he doesn't have TK0 with him. Billy the Kid has been celebrating for a couple of minutes after he won the Tough Man title. In his exuberance on the way out, he stopped at the table occupied around the ring by Jim Banks and Latino Crazy, who are doing the play-by-play commentary for ACW. And he gave Jim Banks a big wet smack on the lips. Jim looked quite surprised about that. And Jeremy Hadley is in the house. He had words for his upcoming opponent, Ray Del Sol, during that video package. I don't know that I know who Ray Del Sol is, so I'm looking forward to this entrance. Nope, I have no idea who Ray Del Sol is. And it looks like Jeremy Hadley has taken care of Ray Del Sol without too much difficulty. I'm sure he's going to walk around and have words for the people in the crowd for a couple of minutes.
I don't really know who my opponent is tonight, but I do know that I have the wits and the quickness to beat him.
Well, we're having another video package here. This time it's from Dakota Prodigy, talking about being in the tournament for the heavyweight title, but he's not sure who his opponent is supposed to be. And maybe while this gets resolved, I'll introduce the surprise person who sat down next to me, Mr. Rick Raid.
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for coming to the table. So you're just kind of chilling tonight and taking it easy?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I wasn't put on the ACW Championship Tournament, which is completely ridiculous, but it is what it is.
Are you able to sit down and watch a wrestling show and just kind of enjoy it, or do you find yourself kind of analyzing and I would have done this to that person, I would have gouged his eyeballs out a little harder, something like that?
Well, it's always fun to watch. It's fun to watch. I'd much rather be in there wrestling, rolling around with the guys, but it's always fun to watch and observe. You can always learn more from watching people. There's always more that you can learn, always ways to improve, and watching and really paying close attention is a very, very good way to learn how to improve your own style.
And I imagine no matter how long you're in this, people are always constantly learning. But so kind of with the basic introductory question here, how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for about 5 years. In January, it'll be 5 years.
Nice. I think the first time I ever saw you was at Fire Pro Wrestling up in Merrillville, and you had a mohawk, and you were announced as being from the Wastelands. Now, have you relocated from the Wastelands, or?
I have not relocated from the Wastelands. Still in the Wastelands in Nevada, but I do not have the mohawk anymore.
I'm glad to know that Indiana isn't the Wastelands. So it looks like Dakota Prodigy's opponent in this tournament match is Johnny Motley. Have you wrestled either of these guys before?
I have not wrestled either one. I did train a little bit with Johnny Motley earlier in my career, but I have not had the chance to wrestle either of them on a show.
Well, let's hope they don't mind too much if we keep chatting while they're putting on a match. If you had to pick one of these guys and run in there and attack one of them, which one would it be?
That is a good question. You know, that is a very good question.
I mean, I guess
I'd
you
love
could answer
to attack both of them.
Yeah,
yes, I
that's
would love
fair.
to attack both of them. But if I had to pick one to have a longer feud with, have a couple matches, I would definitely pick Johnny Motley. I like his style. I like that he brings it. He brings the intensity. He's a guy I would love to get in the ring and wrestle with sometime soon.
Well, don't let me hold you up. I mean, if you want to go run in and just get started, that's okay.
I might. I'll think about it. See how this match goes. See how these guys are feeling tonight.
Now, you mentioned learning things from watching and also being involved in this business for about 5 years now. What do you think is, from when you started to now, the most improved aspect of what you do? Like, what's gotten the most better?
From what I do,
Yeah.
personally, the thing that I've improved the most, I would say probably my striking. I wasn't a very good striker when I started. I've always been a pretty good wrestler, but my striking I had to work on for a very long time, and just hours and hours and hours of striking. And I think just about maybe a year and a half ago, I finally got pretty good at it, and now I'm a lot more confident with my strikes, throwing punches, kicks, and stuff like that in the ring.
You got to be on an ACW show relatively recently, if I remember right, back at the DeMott Boxing Club. Was that a month or two ago?
Yes, that was, I believe it was just about a month ago, the Acme Halloween show. Yeah, I wrestled, my tag team partner was Sanji. We wrestled the Top Guns, which is Randy and Randy. They've got the same names, which was a little confusing. I heard the announcer was getting a little confused about it, but that was a pretty fun show. barely got the better of myself and Sanji, but then again, they're a tag team. They work together all the
Sure.
time. And I'd never met Sanji before that night, so our teamwork was a little off, but I'm sure we could beat him if we got a second chance.
Now, it seems like for a while, ACW was sort of a home base for you, but you're a little more hit or miss in terms of your ability to do shows here. Have you moved somewhere else as your home base?
No, Acme will definitely always be my home. I've wrestled for several other wrestling organizations, but no company I'll never consider a different company home other than Acme. I mean, this is where I got my start almost 5 years ago. This is where I've wrestled the most of my matches. This is where I've learned the most. So, ACW is definitely home. Always has been, always will be.
So Johnny Motley just dropped Dakota Prodigy's head right on top of Motley's knee. Yeah,
he did.
That can't feel good.
Oh, no, that was, I believe that was a tilt-the-world backbreaker. The Top Guns hit me with one of those in our match last month, and those things hurt like hell.
I can believe it. So speaking of hurting like hell, how you feeling after that ladder match from several months ago?
You know, honestly, that ladder match was pretty brutal back in December with Macho Del Silver. And, you know, our adrenaline gets going, the endorphins get going, so we can fight through pretty much anything during the match. But I went out to celebrate later that night sitting at Denny's. And I tell you what, man, my neck got pretty stiff. I was hurting for about a week after that match.
It's worth it, though, right?
Oh, it's always worth it, yeah. To hear the crowd react, to see how they react, put on a good show for them, and especially to do it in a ladder match at home at Acme Championship Wrestling. I mean, I've been dying for ladder matches my whole career, and then Acme finally gives me one against a great opponent in Macho Del Silver. And he gave me everything he had, man. We went at it. I think we wrestled for 20, 25 minutes, something like that. I tell you, he brought me to my limit. Not many guys can do that. And he definitely brought me to my limit that night.
While you were talking, Johnny Motley gave Dakota a knife-edge chop, and I'm guessing everybody that listens to this will be able to have heard that.
I probably.
I think I felt it a little bit. So what is special about ACW, other than the fact that it's just kind of your sentimental favorite because it's where you got your start and have wrestled a lot? But what's special about the organization?
Other than being so close with the guys backstage, you know, everyone being like brothers since we've started. The ring it's a beautiful ring. I hear a lot of guys complaining about our ropes and stuff, but I mean, it is a beautiful, beautiful ring. I love this ring. The shows, the way they have the lights set up out here, the ring is so lit up. The music, the way they have the entrances set up, the music, I mean, everything. I mean, this is about as good as it gets for me being here at Acme. Plus the crowds here are always great.
And I have not seen the video packages incorporated into the show before like they're doing tonight. Have you seen that?
I've not seen that many other places, although I will say the places that I have seen do that, they don't do it nearly as well as Acme does. And one of the things that I like the most about wrestling for Acme is the shows run very smoothly. We usually have about a 2 hour to 2 hour 20-minute show, and it's just boom, boom, boom. You got a match, video package, interviews, promos. I mean, everything's just boom, 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 nonstop action, and that's the way it should be. Because you got other shows. I'm not gonna name any other promotions. I don't want to bury anyone else's promotion, but there's other shows that you can go to, and they have the same amount of matches, but they'll be here for 4 or 5 hours, and I mean that's just way too long. Nobody wants to sit and watch wrestling for 4 or 5 hours. So when you have this many matches, this many high-quality matches, and it only takes about 2 hours, 2 hours 20 minutes, it's a great show. We can get out of here on time, at a decent hour. So Acme's always been pretty darn good, in my opinion.
When you said that about the 2 hours to 2 hours and 20 minutes, I had pretty much exactly the same thought. That I thought that was a pinfall, but it was just slapping the mat for energy, I think.
Yep.
You know, I have been to other shows which last 3.5 hours, and I love wrestling, but you're right. That's especially with chairs like these, you know.
Yeah.
The hard metal chairs. It just gets uncomfortable after a while, and I think there's a little bit of leave them wanting more.
Yeah, that's
lost sometimes when they go on too long like that.
Well, what I've noticed is the shows that do go on for like 3.5, 4 hours, they'll be with guys that don't exactly know what they're doing, and the matches are so long because guys aren't in that great a shape and they're not as good of wrestlers as the shows that only go on for 2 hours. So not only is the show too long, but the wrestling isn't nearly as good. And the crowds just tend to leave and the show just slowly dies down. And especially, I did a show not too long ago where I had the main event and the show went on for 4 hours.
Wow.
And I don't want to be there for 4 hours just to get in the ring and have a bad match with a bunch of guys that don't know what they're doing. Because I mean, if there's one thing that drives me crazy in this world, it is bad wrestling. It drives me up the wall. I mean, we all start at square one. We all have bad matches at the beginning of our career. It happens. But you got to get to a point where if you're not improving, then I don't think certain individuals should be in this business, because either you can do it or you can't do it. And if you get to a point where you're not improving anymore, you just shouldn't be on shows. And so many promoters will put like 30, 40 guys on a show, and you don't need that many guys. They try to get every single guy into every single show, and you don't need that many guys. You only need about, and I've never helped promote a show, so I really don't know what all goes into running shows. So maybe I'm being a little hypocrite, a little too what's the word I'm looking for here? Critical. They got a heck of a sequence going in here. It's distracting me.
It is
what
distracting.
What are they doing? Oh, was that 3?
That was.
Motley got the pin. Motley got it. So he'll advance in the tournament, right?
What are they doing finishing a match while we're trying to talk over here? That was fun stuff, especially at the end there when I think it all started when Dakota Prodigy got up to the top rope and tried to come off onto Motley, and then a little bit after, Motley got the better of him.
Yeah, that was back and forth. That was a crazy ending sequence right there. Johnny Motley is quick, man. He's a little bigger than Prodigy, but he is quick.
Dakota's pissed. Okay, so there's another video promo going on. The problem with radio coverage is that nobody will be able to see the videos, but I think these might be on YouTube as well. They're certainly on the ACW Facebook page.
Oh yeah, most likely. ACW is pretty good about getting their promotional videos up on Facebook and YouTube.
So the video promo going on now is High Society, Thomas Keith and Young Money.
Is that who that is? I recognize Thomas Keith. I'm not quite sure who his partner is.
I've seen them also at NGW, New Generation Wrestling.
Oh, okay.
So, do you have any other organizations that you get to work with right now that you are a fairly regular wrestler at?
Not at the moment, no. There's been a few that I've tried out, but if the shows consistently are going for 3 or 4 hours, I won't go back. And if they're putting guys on their shows that don't quite know what they're doing, I don't want to be in the ring with guys like that. So Acme's really the main company that I've been working for right now. I used to work for NGW, New Generation. What is NGW? New Generation
Wrestling down in Crawfordsville.
Yep, I used to work for Pro Wrestling King and Fire Pro, which are all pretty good companies in my opinion. But I don't think Fire Pro runs anymore. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
No, they haven't done anything for us. Probably been at least a year now.
Yeah, and I mean, I live so far away now. Being in the wastelands in Nevada, so it's such a hard drive to get back here. But when I do, it's always a pleasure being here at Acme, whether I'm wrestling or not. I love being here.
So I've noticed from your social media, say on Facebook, pretty much, that you kind of use, it seems like you kind of use lifting and wrestling as sort of like to keep you centered personally. And is it tougher to do that when you're not wrestling as much as you really want to?
A little bit, yeah. I struggled a lot with depression. I've diagnosed with depression at a young age. And weightlifting and wrestling are the two of the biggest things that help me fight that. Because I have to be active all the time. I got to consistently be working on something. And when I first kind of climbed out of that depression, it was wrestling. It was Acme Championship Wrestling that got me out of that. And my father was a powerlifter when he was my age, when he was in his 20s. So I got into that not too long ago. And it's just, constantly, I got to be lifting weights. I got to be wrestling. And that's about a daily thing, spending 5-6 hours in the gym every day. I just got to keep active. And I do other kinds of therapy too, but best therapy, for me anyway, for me personally, is definitely lifting weights.
So High Society is not making a good impression on the crowd immediately.
Yeah, they sound angry. I don't know what they're so upset about. Is he being sarcastic? Is he really complimenting her? I can't tell.
If it's Thomas Keith,
I
I'm
think he's
guessing
being
that they're
nice.
not.
Oh, they're telling the crowd to shut up now. Did he just try to drink the microphone? What was that?
That was emphasis.
Looking up like he was like he was The Rock with that microphone for a second.
So the fourth match of the night, High Society's in the ring already. A guest referee, who I'm guessing is one of the staff members of the school. Maybe the principal. You probably got to be pretty tough.
Is that who the referee is?
I'm guessing a teacher or a principal or something. So their opponents are going to be El Muchacho, and then I don't know who the next person will be. We'll find out. So with your combination of lifting and wrestling, would there be one of them without the other? Like if you weren't wrestling, would you still be lifting intently? Or if there wasn't
definitely.
lifting, would you still be wrestling?
Well, without lifting, I don't think I would be wrestling because I got to be in shape to be
Sure.
here in the ring. And I actually hurt my back and my neck really badly in 2014. Had to take a lot of time off and build up a lot of back and neck muscle to almost hold my back and my neck together, really.
Ouch.
But if there was no wrestling, I would definitely still be weightlifting. I mean, it's become such a big part of my life. Honestly, I love weightlifting more than I think I love any other part of my life. And it's a really close competition between weightlifting and wrestling, but I love lifting weights. It's such a big part of what keeps me sane. I don't think I'll ever be able to stop lifting weights.
Well, I'll ask you another question once the crowd gets a little quieter, but the fighting school teacher Jimmy Holmes has been introduced, and he's always a favorite at these events. You are listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. So Jimmy Holmes and El Muchacho against High Society. An interesting Christmas color scheme here. High Society in green. And then Jimmy Holmes and El Muchacho in red and white. Very festive.
Yeah, Thomas Keith almost looks like he's dressed like Finley from back in the day.
Yeah, you're right.
Got that black and green on.
What advice do you have for somebody who wants to get into like a really good fitness regimen with weightlifting?
I would say to eat healthy. That is, eating healthy is actually way more important than actually working out.
Damn it.
Because, yeah, I know, right? Because you can get into the gym every single day and lift weights and do cardio for hours and hours and hours. But if you're going home and you're eating like cake and ice cream and brownies, it's not going to help. Because you got to have high amounts of protein. You got to have your greens, veggies. I mean, my diet is I try to eat 5 to 7 pounds of chicken a day and 3 to 4 servings of vegetables, along with, I have some snacks here or there, but mainly it's 5 to 7 pounds of chicken and a whole bunch of vegetables.
You're one of those guys that'll go to a restaurant and just ask the waitress for a plate full of grilled chicken and broccoli?
Not at a restaurant usually.
No?
If I'm at a restaurant, that's usually a cheat day. I'll go in and I'll get a couple steaks, and I always get questioned by the waiter or the waitress too, because I'll order 2 or 3 meals, and they always think I'm done, and I have to tell them, hold on, I need more. I gotta have more, because my depression was getting. Depression is kind of a crazy mental illness to struggle with for me, and it was getting the better of me last year, and I dropped down to, I think I was about 170 pounds. And over the course of this year, since February, I've put on about 44 pounds.
Wow.
Which is, an incredible amount of eating that I've had to do to get that far. And, usually, if I do have a cheat day or if I'm going out to a restaurant, I'll be getting steaks, scrambled eggs. I'll cheat and get some chocolate chip pancakes. I love me some chocolate chip pancakes.
Oh, yum.
What else? Some sausage links, bacon, and I'll basically just order everything that I can get, whole bunch of plates, some omelets, and I'll just fill the table up with food and see how much I could eat.
So usually when you see nutrition guidelines, the standard is to say that, 2,000 calories a day is your general target. What's your target then?
My target, honestly, is to just eat as much as I can, because I know a lot of guys do count calories, and a lot of guys say I got to have this much, but not too many.
Right.
But for me, I have very high metabolism, and I'm always so busy as far as working out and trying to get stuff done in my personal life that I don't have much time to eat. I get about 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night if I'm lucky.
Wow.
So if I get time to eat, I just eat as much as I can, and I'm right back to working on something.
Well, with any luck, ACW will be running shows a lot during the school year, and you'll get to come in and have an active role in one of these. Knowing about their current roster, is there anybody on the ACW roster that needs to be punched in the face?
I would love to wrestle Billy the Kid. He is one tough son of a gun, and it drives me nuts when people tell me that Billy the Kid might be tougher than me. And I'll give him credit. He is one tough son of a gun. But there ain't nobody in Acme that's tougher than Rick Raid. Not a single person. And I want to get in the ring with Billy the Kid. I want, whether it's no disqualifications, whether it's a ladder match, tables match, no holds barred, I just want to get in the ring with Billy the Kid, no rules. He can bring his bat, his fluffy, I'll bring my trash cans, my sledgehammers, stairs, shopping carts, whatever it's got to be. Just give me Billy the Kid, and let me and him tear each other apart, and I'll show everybody that I am tougher than Billy the Kid.
Well, that's an amazing coincidence, because after the first match tonight, Billy the Kid is now the ACW Tough Man title holder.
I noticed that, and you know what drives me insane is ACW General Manager Michael Allen has never, he's given me one Tough Man title shot, and I should have more Tough Man title shots, because I took Drex Odell, probably the biggest guy. If there is anybody that might be on my level just as tough as me, it would be Drex Odell. Because I suplexed him off the top rope, I picked him up and gave him a spine buster, I body slammed him, I gave him an attitude adjustment, and the guy just doesn't get tired. He weighs over 300 pounds, he's got cardio like you wouldn't believe, he is tough, and I couldn't believe I couldn't beat him. So I guess I would say if there is somebody that I want to wrestle, it would be Drex Odell or Billy the Kid. And I definitely want more shots at the Tough Man title, because, a little known fact, I'm a 3-time ACW Hardcore champion.
Oh.
And a former television champion. And I have won more championships than anybody in the history of Acme Championship Wrestling. But Michael Allen hasn't given me a title shot in about 3.5, 4 years. Which is ridiculous, because in a matter of a year, I had 4 title victories. And the next guy that's next closest to myself, I believe, is Drex Odell with 3. I might be wrong about that, but the guy, I do believe Drex Odell is behind me with 3 title victories. I've got the most title wins than anybody in Acme.
I did not know that. That's interesting. True. So it sounds like you have some business to catch up on.
I do. And also, I've taken Drex Odell to his limit. My second match I ever had in my career, I ended King Joe's career. I took the Hardcore Championship from him. And then last year, in December, when I had that ladder match with Macho Del Silver, I ended his career when I won that contract ladder match.
Yeah.
And I never get the credit that I deserve here in Acme, and it drives me insane. I don't know what I have to do to get Michael Allen's attention. I got to figure something out, because I need that time. I want a Tough Man title shot, and I want a title shot for the ACW Heavyweight Championship. I think I deserve it. And if he doesn't give it to me, then I don't know, maybe by the end of the night I might have to run into the ring after that main event and show them that I'm tougher than those guys. Might have to lace somebody out, but
well, that worked for
happens.
Maverick Cage a few shows ago. He stormed the ring after I think that was the same show you had the ladder match on. He stormed the ring and reintroduced himself to ACW and Jimmy Holmes. And so maybe Rick Raid needs to storm the ring and reintroduce himself.
I just might. We'll see what happens. I'm feeling pretty strong tonight, so I might have to.
Okay.
Look at Jimmy Holmes laying them out with those right hands.
I think people have drawn comparisons between boxing and wrestling, and should a boxer beat a wrestler or vice versa. And I think, for a boxer like Jimmy, if he's in a position where he gets to lay in with those punches of his, I think you probably have the answer to that. Well, this chat we've been having is going to be on the air Sunday night in Valparaiso, and I'll try to I'm not quite in the power circle of ACW, but I'll see what I can do to draw Michael Allen's attention to it, and maybe he'll listen to what your thoughts are about the Tough Man Championship and getting back into some title contention.
I'll tell you what, man. Michael Allen, if you're listening to this Sunday night, you need to give me a Tough Man title shot and an ACW championship match. One of the two or both, and if you don't give me one of them, I just might have to take your champion out and take that championship home with myself.
That sounds good, and that was also good timing. Jimmy Holmes and El Muchacho have just defeated High Society. Jimmy Holmes got the pin on Young Money. And now he's getting attacked.
Oh, man. Uh-oh. Oh, he's going to hit the teacher. Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine if he actually hit the teacher with the chair? Oh, my gosh.
That would be at least a detention.
I think he would kill her if he hit her with that chair. Is she crazy standing up in front of him? What are you doing?
Ooh, I just saw the chair bend when Thomas Keith whacked Jimmy Holmes with it.
Who is that? Are you...
It's a guy with dark clothes, a trench coat, and a gas mask.
Who the hell is that?
Well, he's kicked High Society out of the ring and helped Jimmy Holmes stand up.
What's wrong with his voice?
He's talking through the gas mask, and it's kind of tough to hear him.
I have no idea what he just said. Something about Jimmy Holmes.
If there was ever a time for the what chant, that was it.
Yes, it was. But who is that guy?
Okay, well, I don't know if we're going to find out for sure.
I might have to run backstage and find out for myself.
Yeah, give us a scoop if you find out.
I will.
All
I
right.
will.
Well, sitting with me for a while has been Rick Raid. Thank you so much for taking some time and sharing your thoughts about what you've been doing and wrestling in general. And I hope to see you in action in ACW really soon.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm sure I'll be back soon.
All right. Might be intermission time. And sure enough, it was intermission time. I'm Ken the Metal Professor, and you were listening to delayed audio coverage of the Acme Championship Wrestling Show Lake Village Bash, which took place this past Friday night at Lake Village Elementary School down there in, guess where? Lake Village, Indiana. It's about an hour away from Valpo. You've heard audio from the first half along with that extensive interview with Rick Raid. I had a lot of fun talking to him for that period of time. The second half coverage is significantly shorter because nobody was talking to me during it. I was lonely and sad and all by myself. And so it's about 8 to 10 minutes, I think, of coverage so you can hear all the exciting events that took place there. And then, like I said at the start of the show, this Sunday night block of mine has been almost completely taken over by wrestling because I had so much audio to get out there. Normally it's mostly metal, literally and figuratively. Coming up at 9 o'clock, you'll hear a little bit of metal, including the new single by Metal Legends, Venom. But for now, this is the finish of the Acme Championship Wrestling Show. All right, the second half is underway here at ACW's Lake Village Wrestling Bash. There's a video package playing to get things underway. That was really great talking to Rick Raid for so long right before intermission. And I think we talked through like 2 entire matches. So just to make sure that people listening to this get that coverage, the results from the first half: Billy the Kid defeated Cliff Caviar for the ACW Tough Man title. Johnny Motley defeated Dakota Prodigy. Jeremy Hadley defeated Ray Del Sol. Jimmy Holmes and El Muchacho defeated High Society. And to kick off the second half, making their ACW debut, is a tag team called the Main Attraction. Ref Zoran is in the ring, ready to take control. And after the Main Attraction makes their entrance, we'll see who their opponents are. And the opponents for the Main Attraction are the Top Guns. Randy and Randy, otherwise known as Ace and Highball. Randy just made the hot tag to Randy in the Top Guns. And he ran roughshod over the Main Attraction for a little bit. But their manager got up on the ring apron and caused a distraction, so things have settled down again. But you can hear the kids going crazy for Top Guns. Now everybody's fighting outside the ring.
This match is a double countout. There is no winner.
Ref Zoran decided that the mayhem outside the ring was getting ridiculous. He counted to 10. Everybody's still outside. And so he's ruled it a double countout. It was an exciting finish. One of the guys in the Main Attraction with a tope con hilo, out and over. And then Randy, number one of the Top Guns, with a tope con something, out and over. It is convenient that they're both named Randy, so I don't have to remember which one is Ace and which one is Highball. And I can call them Randy number one and Randy number two, and it doesn't matter if I'm right. So at least according to the crowd, the Top Guns are the winners.
The following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. Entering first from Gatlinburg, Tennessee, standing 5'11", weighing 190 pounds, Xavier Black. Partner from Hollywood, Florida, standing 6 foot tall, weighing 215 pounds, the flawless one, Dave Allen. And their opponents, entering first from Bangkok, Thailand, standing 5'7", weighing 140 pounds, Arun.
And finally to the ring, here comes Cujo. This is a tag team match. Cujo and Arun versus Dave Allen and Xavier Black. As you can expect, Dave Allen and Xavier Black attacked Cujo and Arun. Youch. Right at the bell. Didn't give him a chance. Threw Cujo out of the ring, and now they're both attacking him. Except Arun just launched himself over the ropes and on top of them. And now it's Arun and Xavier Black in the ring together, and maybe the match will settle down. And Dave Allen and Xavier Black have won this match. And now they're beating on Arun afterwards until Cujo runs in with a chair to make the save for his partner. Cujo had some words for Dave Allen after that about the way Allen conducts himself, and I think those two might be headed for a confrontation one-on-one.
Scheduled for one fall. And it is a first-round matchup in the ACW Heavyweight Title Tournament. The winner of this matchup will move on to the second round of the tournament and increase their chances of becoming the next ACW Heavyweight Champion. Entering first, from Jamestown, Mississippi, standing 5'11" and weighing 190 pounds, Excalibur! Special managers, Secretary Anna Wynn, and Ms. Rose. He's from Cyclone City, standing 6'1", weighing 220 pounds, Crimson Dynamo!
All right, we have Crimson Dynamo versus Excalibur in this early round match in the tournament for the ACW Heavyweight title. It looks like it'll be a good, clean match. Dynamo offers a handshake to start it off, and there's no shenanigans. Look at that. Let's see who pokes who in the eye first. After a hard-fought match, Excalibur takes out Crimson Dynamo with a shooting star press from the top turnbuckle. Crimson Dynamo had clobbered him with a couple of his Dynamo punches, but it wasn't enough to take him out for good. And following up the nice clean match, it looks like we might have a closing handshake here. Excalibur asks the audience to show Crimson Dynamo some love. You know, 4 times out of 5 when there's a mutual show of respect like that, somebody gets clobbered. But this time it looks like it's clean. And that's nice. It's almost Christmas. I think we need more of this.
The following contest is your main event of the evening. This triple threat match is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the ACW Intercontinental Championship. Entering first from the wastelands of Nevada, standing 6 foot tall and weighing 205 1/2 pounds, he is the action figure Rick Ray!
Hey, it's the main event, and that's awesome. Rick Raid has gotten himself in there as part of this triple threat. Weighing 205 1/2 pounds. I guess he doesn't qualify for 205 Live now. I guess if I'm here doing delayed radio coverage of this event, I shouldn't pick favorites. But dang it, now I want Rick Raid to win. The rest of the audience, not so much.
Holy city of Chicago, Illinois, standing 5'3", weighing 160 pounds, the Prophet Xavier Cross.
The Prophet Xavier Cross has been introduced. Here's another new one. I've not seen him before. I hope it doesn't get confusing with 2 Xaviers on the roster.
And their opponent from Benton County, Indiana, standing 6 foot tall, weighing 180 pounds, he is the ACW
So this main event is a triple threat. Rick Raid, Jared Kripke, and the Prophet Xavier Cross. Xavier Cross is up for a frog splash. He's on the top turnbuckle in the corner. Kripke's laying in the ring. Ooh, he nailed it. Rick Raid is in to break up the pin. These three have been going back and forth for a long time now. Nobody's really getting the upper hand. And now Raid throws Cross out of the ring, and he's alone with Kripke. Kripke's down on his back, but as Raid approached him, Kripke managed to kick him in the head. And now a stunner. Inverted DDT. And that's it. Jared Kripke wins. He retains his Intercontinental ACW Championship. And that looks like it's a wrap. One more time for good measure. We just had Jared Kripke retain his Intercontinental Championship over Xavier Cross and Rick Raid, a surprise entrant, making this main event a triple threat. Xavier Black and Dave Allen defeated Cujo and Arun. The Top Guns and the main attraction tag team match ended in a double countout. Jimmy Holmes and El Muchacho defeated High Society. Jeremy Hadley defeated Ray Del Sol. Johnny Motley defeated Dakota Prodigy. And I'm going in reverse order here. Starting off the night, we'd had Billy the Kid defeating Cliff Caviar and taking Caviar's ACW Tough Man title.
That's all, folks. Make sure to join our next show, December 14th in Lincoln Elementary School.
December 14th, Lincoln Elementary School. Winter Warfare 6 is the next ACW event.